Hey everybody, in this video, I'm going to discuss the ways that you can be sure to get the perfect clients that you need in order to be successful this year in 2025. Now, my name is Danielle Leviston. I'm the owner of Painting and Poppin' Traveling Paint Parties LLC, which is a mobile paint party business. I've been in business for about 6 years now, and prior to that, I created jewelry and sold jewelry primarily through the Etsy platform. I'm an artist, I'm an educator, so I am not new to this creative space. Now, if you are also a business owner and you specialize in serving clients, this is the place to be, especially if you're a creative. Now, let's say you don't have a business yet, and maybe you're just kind of bouncing around ideas and you consider yourself to be a creative person, or you want your business to revolve around some sort of creativity. This is also the place to be because I am going to be giving you awesome tips to improve your business savvy this year. Now, before we go any further, I want you to make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I said subscribe. I am not editing that out, okay? This is real. This is raw and uncut, okay? I want you to make sure you subscribe to my channel and that you also like this video, as well as go back to some other videos. Now, we're going to get into it, okay? So again, in this video, we are discussing how to make sure you get the perfect clients for your business in 2025. And I have 3 different points for you. But before we get there, let's talk about what the perfect client might be, okay? Now, what you really want to do is you want to make sure as a business owner that you take the time to vet your clients, okay? What does that mean? You want to make sure that the people that you choose to work with kind of align with your business values, with the values of your business, with your values. So think about what your core values might be. So, for instance, my values is one of my values within my business, not this isn't like in any ranking, but I really want people to have a good time and not be so serious. Okay. So it seems like, that's a value. But for what I do paint parties, right? So the key is to have a good time. Now, let's say someone contacts me and they're like, just, I can tell maybe they're going to scam me. It sounds a little interesting. Or maybe like their mood is just negative and every time I answer one of their questions, it's a sarcastic rebuttal, or I just don't pick up a good vibe from that person. And I mean, like, serious, right? Or I think that some of the things they say might cause potential harm to my business, such as like bad reviews or just not being a reasonable person to work with. Then I really have to consider, okay, well, do I really want to work with this person? Okay. I know it sounds strange, but I'm telling you, vetting your clients is so important. Well, my sweater is like, that's bothering me. Sorry, guys. Let me move that. Making sure that you actually want to work with the people who book with you, there we go, is really important. It's not a one-way street. Okay. It's not a one-way street. Because what you don't want to do is get to the point where you just want to give somebody their deposit back and cancel the appointment or what, the booking. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that if your favorite color is blue, the people that you work with, like their favorite color has to be blue. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you want to make sure that you are not causing yourself stress because in 2025, that's the opposite of how we want to be operating. Okay. So, and now it's up to you to decide, right? But what we're also not going to be in 2025 is be super thirsty for any client. All right. So, again, you have a choice. Just like the client has a choice to work with you, you also have a choice to service that client. Okay. And if you feel like something's not right, You do not have to accept their booking, okay? Now, we're not going to talk about, ways to not accept someone's booking, but I just want to talk to you about how you can ensure that you are working with the clients in order for you to be successful this year. All right. So the first point is you want to make sure you have a phone conversation with that person. Um, Meeting up is not necessary, but if you rather meet up with the person, that's fine. But what I want you to avoid doing is only communicating with that person through social media or email or texting. Okay. So I'll give you a little anecdote. It's a personal anecdote. And this was a particular client where I just I knew it wasn't gonna work out. In the end, we actually ended up canceling. I won't get into that story, okay? But uh, I was messaging this person on Facebook, and I was answering questions, and the responses that I got were kind of like, well, this person was trying to get more than I was agreeing to offer. So, for instance, let me see, how can I relate this? There was a question about something that I did as part of my service. And the rebuttal from this person well, I saw that this person did this. How come you can't do this? And I would really rather have it this way. And I had to really, because I can be sometimes a people pleaser, so I really had to pause and go, well, this is how, in my policies, this is how it works with my business. So da 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 da. Now, that's not the reason why the party got canceled or anything. That's not. But just to kind of show you, like, I felt in my spirit that something wasn't right with this particular person, and that was not just one. I'm sorry. That was not the only instance where I felt that way and I had that kind of like negative encounter. So, the reason for the phone call is so that you can pick up the aura, the spirit of the person. And I really don't want to sound woo woo because that's not what this is about. But you really want to get a good idea of who it is that you're going to serve. If you're going to their house, right? You want to know the people that you'll be working with. For me, it's like I want to know I'm having, a good time with these people, and I want to know that they trust me to give them this good painting time, and that they're excited, right? And that they are gonna want to listen to what I have to say. So you want to pick up who that person is. So definitely have a phone conversation with that person. You can't always pick up those little things through text messaging and email and social media, right? So make sure you have a phone conversation. This also gives you the chance to really sell and pitch who you are as well, because that isn't always translated through texting or email. So it's kind of like you're both getting to know who you are, who each other, oh, who you are, right? You're both getting to know who you are. Okay, I think I said that right. So, understanding that your personality aligns in some way. Again, you don't have to be besties. That's not what I'm saying. But just understand, like, okay, I'm excited. I'm really excited to get to this person's house and put on this party for their friends and family. Okay. Now, number two, you want to clearly communicate your expectations and what they can expect from you. I know sometimes that things get busy and you're just trying to get that person to put their deposit down, you're trying to get them to sign the contract and everything, but a lot of times people do not read because they're busy too. So they're not going to do their due diligence to read through your policies. So having that initial phone conversation kind of leads into B, or number 2 if we're going numerical, right? Um, so the phone conversation gives you a chance to communicate what your important policies are, right? If you have a an expectation that everybody is on time and there's a 15-minute grace period, this is where you state that. If you have the expectation that everybody should be there, everybody should be there so that by the time you finish setting up, they just kind of come and start doing whatever it is that you do, right? You can set that expectation. If having tables out and everything prepared, so all you have to do is come in and pop the easels on top of the table, you can share that information or anything. So be clear about what it is that you expect from your client and everyone that you're servicing within that session. Okay, whatever it is that you might do. So I think we do a really great job of this on paper and within our websites and the information that we send, but we really want to speak this information too, because that communicates that this is important. Okay. Now, um, now that we got to that, I want to go over what number 3 is. All right. Number 3 is that after all of that, after you have had the phone conversation, the initial phone conversation, after you were clear on your expectations, including whatever documents they may need to sign, so the contract and all of that. Number 3 is now you want to follow up via email. Okay? Now you want to follow up via email. Now, I'm not saying that the initial communication can't be through email, but right after the initial communication, you want to make sure you reach out and make that phone call, okay? Then you want to be clear about the expectations and things that you need from them. Then you want to follow up with a more thorough email outlining everything. So, with the email, the information you send, you want to have this info already outlined. So it's just like you already have it and you're just sending it out. Okay. So you should already have this information. It's just that in that phone call, you want to make sure that you highlight all those important things. Okay. So now when they see the email, those things are reiterated to them, as well as those little tidbits that might be just kind of like the icing on the cake, right? So send a follow up email with the information that they need. So in your phone conversation, if you said, okay, well, you want to make sure you sign the contract, right? You said it, now they can actually see it in your email or however you're corresponding with them as a follow up. So things should be written out. Make sure you have things that are written out. It might be a certain area of your website that they have to go to look at it. So you send that link. Um, I know I use not Google Docs, but I use Google Forms. I did use Google Docs before, but I use Google Forms that they have to actually submit some information to me. So, but again, that is a follow up. All that information comes as a follow up. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, well, how do I know that this is still going to be the perfect client? Once again, okay, I'm not saying that you guys have to be besties. I am just saying that you want to be very clear about who you are, where you stand, what your policies are, so that they're clear. And the best way to do that is to be thorough in your communication. That way, there are no surprises in the end about certain things. That way, your client has the opportunity to ask you questions. Maybe it's something that they thought about that's not necessarily in your policies that they might want to ask. Now, this doesn't say that this is the only communication that you all will have when we go through these 1, 2, 3 steps. They can always follow up with questions, of course, right? But this allows you to do your due diligence so there's no surprises afterwards. I'm telling you, I understand. I've been where you've been. I am where you are. Sometimes we forget things. So this is the best way that you can really communicate what your business is about and what they can expect from you. Okay? That makes sense? So I'm going to do a recap. So the way to get the most amazing clients basically is you being clear and communicating about your expectations. And how do we do that? Number one, you have an initial phone call. to see if you and that client are going to be aligned. Okay. And even if you're not perfectly aligned, right? At least you know you're working with a cool person, right? And they understand what's going on. Okay. Now, everybody's not going to be super cool. So I don't want you to take this literally, right? But you definitely want to have a phone conversation. Number two, you want to be clear about your expectations. Be clear about what you expect, what they can expect. And then you want to follow up via email. You want to follow up with the information you talked about as far as your expectations and just introducing yourself again and talking about your business and really selling yourself, right? This is the way that we need to vet clients in 2025. Guys, there's too much scamming going on. There is too many people who are upset at people for being happy, okay? Who will try to ruin your business. So make sure that you do your due diligence and you do these things, okay? Now, what I want you to do before you leave this page, or I'm sorry, before you pop off of this video is I want you to make sure that you watch my prior videos. I'm going to post links in the description of this video so that you can go back. I want you to go back, especially to my video about how you can get your first client. So if you're in the beginning stages or you're planning your business, I want you to follow those steps so that you can successfully get your first client, okay? Now, if you are a business owner and you agree with some of the things that I said, then I want you to comment, okay? I'm sure that I missed some things. So again, if you're a business owner and you have some things to add, I want you to pop a comment in. Now, I feel like I'm going to get some people who might disagree with picking up the aura of the client, but I want you to, the aura of the client, like figuring out if you want to work with that person through that phone conversation. But I'm telling you, the last thing that you want to do is start working with somebody who is just an awful person. I'm sorry. Okay, it's an awful person. And you had the chance to make sure that your values were aligned and you didn't. That's the last thing you want to do. And I'm elaborating on that point a little bit more just because it's not cut and dry. There's some gray areas. But I'm telling you, you don't have to be perfectly aligned, but you want to pick up that that person also really wants to work with you, right? And they're not, they don't treat you like a peasant. I think that's what I wanted to get to. Okay. You want to work with someone who is going to treat you like a human being and not like you exist on the bottom of their shoe just because you're providing a service for them. That's what I wanted to communicate more. I hope that that makes sense, guys. I hope that that makes sense. Okay. Now, after looking at the other videos, I want you to make sure, if you haven't done so yet, that you like this video and then you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I will see you on the flip side. Make sure that you share my videos and have a great rest of your day.